Warriors Unite! Back with another episode of Warriors 2 and the 1% Club. Hope you guys are doing well. Wanted to kind of do another one because I had a few minutes here. Hope you guys are conquesting yourselves, conquesting things around you, and conquesting life in general to be able to kind of get away from distractions and temptations. And we'll talk about why in a couple minutes. But let me do a couple quick shout outs. Don Trump, thank you, Don. You're going to basically kind of be the focus a little bit because you made a good comment the other day, maybe it was yesterday or this morning actually, talking about why we get temptation. I talk about more in the profit mode, but obviously there's a bigger reason behind it all. We'll dwell into that in a second. A couple quick shout outs. Knowledge Berakah, thank you, my friend, as always. Hamilton, 10th month, congratulations, keep it up. EA7, one of my favorites, thank you. Vel 2.0. Badbwaymusic, 40 days. Congratulations. Keep it up. At Ben, thank you. God's Gladiator, thank you. Lykkos, 5 months. Thank you, my friend. Good job. Keep it up. Deion Williams, thank you. Adrianwinionski, 2 years. Great. Congratulations, Adrian. Congratulations, my friend. Mario Rodriquez, 90 days. Why people stare? Yes, they're going to stare all the time because you have that energy, that aura that men and women are looking for. Spencerbrizendine, 31 days. Congratulations. Keep it up. And Reinhardt, thank you, my friend. Old friend as well. All right. So the question is, Don Trump was talking about, is that I always refer to talking a lot about, profit and why people actually go out and, have temptation and all the blue matrix and everything else we're dealing with. Well, hey, I actually kind of, as I teach and as I talk about these things and other things, obviously, I try to do it within patterns, steps by steps. Obviously, if you kind of tell people there are spirits out there, they're probably not going to believe you. Most of them, unless they believe in God and believe in Creator, they're not going to believe any sort of spirit or anything you talk about. But they could see patterns as time goes on, and eventually, hopefully, they'll get to the point they're going to see that pattern of, a spirit, that things that look like they're in the world really aren't. This whole idea of the blue matrix is a good idea. One of those, for example, that's one of them that we talk about a lot, and we focus on this, but really it's not something that is seeable, right? It's something that we sense, that we see. So as we look at this, the whole key is, what is the purpose of temptation? Why do we get tempted? We go back to the Adam and Eve type of thing. Why do we get tempted? Why is it a distraction? And what is the ultimate reason the evil one, I call it, the satanic forces, do this? Now, first of all, I make this separation and say, okay, there are, in my opinion, evil forces. There is energy out there that's negative energy, destructive energy, and people do not want you to succeed. Now, part of this is because of a biological nature that we have in the world of a push and pull. But a big part of it is the idea that there is inherently people who want to take advantage of you. And maybe it's not that they're necessarily evil. Some are not. But they basically want to take over. They don't want you controlling anything. And so as people do this, people who have high level control needs, who are at a point where they are, kind of talking, micromanaging, all these types, those are the types of people that tend to have a lot of that energy associated with it. Not necessarily because they're evil people, but because they want to control, so that they have a fear of losing control. And they don't want to lose because they feel like, well, it's survival, battleground, all types of things we talk about. So getting back to what Don was saying, and he makes a good point, and let me go branch it out a little further in my explanation. When we talk about the fact of the blue matrix out there, the blue matrix is basically talking about the fact that everything we see has been told to us, probably as small children, as we grow up, but that 90% of those things are the opposite. Why is it? Well, the why is it, I kind of say, because as a service level, we see it as more of a profit type of thing when it comes to people. People want to sell you products, so they create a fear, right? They want to go to war, so they create a fear. War is going to generate money. A lot of it comes down to the profit-making money we talk about. So You could talk about the dental industry. You could talk about the health industry. There's a lot of theories out there to talk about the fact that, people don't want to really get you healthy. So the foods we eat, all these type of things that we do are designed to push us in a direction of not healthy. So now we have to be, go to the doctors and the medical industry. All those people make a lot of money. So the thing is that there's a lot of things out there that you could say are designed to make us, have negative, bad times, so that we have to spend money to become better. Money on medicine, money on, programs, whatever it might be. So that is a key to the whole thing. But that's not the bottom line, as Don is mentioning, and he's accurate, in his statement. I appreciate, Don, what you're saying. So we talk about this and we put a step further on this whole thing. We're talking more in terms of what is it past the profitability. Well, obviously, the evil one, Satanic himself, basically wants you to lose your faith. The one thing we talk about all the time is having faith in your Creator, having faith in the purpose and the things you're doing, and having faith in everything that you see in front of you. May or may not be real, but spiritually, there is a spiritual side of things. So we talk about people trying to make a profit. What they're trying to do, bud, in the long sense, yes, they're trying to make a profit at the surface, but beyond it all, what they're really trying to do is get you further and further away from God. Because if you had God and your Creator in your life, you would not fall for the temptations. And we talk about women as a primary type of source here, because that's where we talk about self-control, retention, things like that. But we could very easily be talking about something like alcohol or obesity. We could talk about something like, overeating. We could talk about something like drugs or alcohol, as I said, or anything else we talk about. People could get in gambling. You could get addiction to those things. When you get an addiction to those things, those become your gods. So again, we should not be having idols, obviously what the Bible talks about. And so as a result of that, you should not be having these gods. But people get addicted. We all have had those type of situations, and obviously pornography is a big one. And we talk about that type of thing a lot on our channel. But the idea is that the satanic forces behind it all want to control you, and better yet, they want you to move away from God. They don't want you to recognize God. They want you to move past God. So you're not basically in a position to, be one with God. And so as a result of that, you start going over to the darker side, I call it. And basically now you're inviting all kinds of other people, images, all kinds of energy into your system. So the real reason behind a lot of this we talk about is not so much the profitability, which is obviously they want to make money off of you. And of course, we have to at times because we feel like there's no other option, especially from a health standpoint. But behind it all, what we're really talking about is that with all the things that the evil one's doing, they're trying to get you more and more away from God. They're trying to get you more and more away from your Creator, and losing faith, losing hope, have you stop reading the Bible, all these type of things, with all the temptations of the world. So you can only live in the world, or you can live in God's world, right? And as a result of that, you make that choice as you get older, as you get more deeply into faith. You should be transitioning more away from the things that are temporal, the things we see, and more into those things that you cannot see. But that requires faith. And faith is important when it comes to this whole issue. You're not going to be as tempted if you know the end result of this is that you have a relationship with God. You don't need to have sex with this woman. You don't need to need to release with this energy, with this picture. You don't need to do that, because God is going to help you and save you and move you to a level where you're happy. You have peace, you have happiness. You don't need other people. We'll talk about this in another sense, that the more you can actually, live with yourself within God within you, the happier things around you. We'll talk about the idea of self-control. If you can control yourself, you can control other things around you. The person who controls their emotions the person who controls their speaking, whose deliberate masculine frame we talked about in the last video, that person controls everything around them. Because they become the highly respected person, people will listen to them, plus you're also then connecting with God through the quiet times, so not trying to have all this noise and temptation around you. So Don, that's a good question. I wanted to kind of stop because I saw your comment and I wanted to kind of make a quick video on this one, talk about this. But the biggest fear is the evil one. And we have to realize everything put in front of us is just another type of way the evil one's trying to get us away from God, trying to get us to focusing more on the things of the world, hoping that's going to make us happy. We know that doesn't make us happy. We know that from a lot of experiences, right? I know that almost coming on 64 years of life. I know that. And so you have to keep that in the focus of your mind, that the spiritual world is real, A, God is real, B, that should be A, B, the spiritual world, and C, that is all you need to be happy. All these other things are gifts from God. Your wife, your husband, whatever it might be, if you're female listening, all those things are gifts, children, things like that, and they should be looked upon as great gifts and be grateful from God. Who you look like, all those type of things are gifts. Always thank God for those type of things. But realize that the more you talk with God, the less you're going to talk with satanic types of beings, devils and things like that. And then less you're going to have problems with focusing on, temptation. And that's the key. Once we talk about this all the time, the bird can fly over your nest with temptation, but you're the one that's letting the bird sit in the nest in your head. And I got my haircut and getting kind of long here. My friends look like the wild man coming here. But you have that on top of your head. And the thing is that what you have to do is not let it settle into your nesting on your head. You can control that part of it. You have to control that part of it because that's going to allow you to not get tempted, not get distracted, and keep on your way. All right, again, thank you, Don Trump. I appreciate that for your comment. I appreciate always your comments. You make very outstanding ones. This was an interesting one because I sometimes talk about the satanic. I don't talk about it as much, but it's obviously that's the main reason we do all of this, to avoid losing your faith and keeping your faith, but also having a level of self-control in which you can actually go ahead and kind of get closer to God and follow God's purposes. So, all right, friends. Anyway, I'm going to start driving again. Hope you guys have a good rest of your Saturday. Enjoy the rest of the day. I always leave you with two things. One, every day is a new day to a great warrior, and you guys are great warriors. And number two, guys, we talk about this, especially in our video today. We always have to keep battling, battle, because we've got to keep that armor on. We've got to fight that devil because any point around the corner, temptation get us. That's why we always have to continue to battle on. God bless you guys. Have a great day.